Hi, my name is Billy Bean, and we know that you aren't the player you used to be, and we know that you're washed up now, but we only care about one thing from you. You get on base. What is going on, guys? Bill's here bringing you some fire content on the Pirate 18 channel. In today's video, everyone, we're going to be talking about not MLB The Show, not predictions, no content. I mean, there actually was content. Griffey Week, guys. Come on. But we're going to be talking about something about baseball that I found to be very fun, you know? It's also another one of my movie talks. Alright, I kind of spoiled it for you. Moneyball. We're going to be talking about the movie Moneyball because, in my opinion, it is definitely the best baseball movie of this decade, arguably. And, you know, it was a fun movie. You can learn a lot about baseball. That's definitely how I got to, you know much more baseball on a deeper level. Like, obviously, I knew baseball before seeing Moneyball. I knew that it was a sport, of course. I knew that, well, there were baseball teams. I knew that they played this game. But you really learn a lot about what goes on behind the scenes for a baseball team. That's what's so great about this movie. You don't have to love baseball to watch it, you know? It's very open to viewers. It doesn't have a select target audience. Although, obviously, baseball fans are going to love it. And I really want to talk about this movie because it really did change my perception on baseball. It made me really think about how hard every team has to work with their budgets to get these players. And that's actually a big thing about this movie. It's a big message, too. And it's based on the story about the Oakland A's. It follows Oakland A's GM Billy Bean, played excellently and Oscar-worthily by Brad Pitt. And he has to build this team. He has to build this team from the ground up again because he's losing his three best players. Or actually two of his really star players. He's losing Jason Giambi, Johnny Damon, as well as, you know, he's losing all of the great players. That's basically what's going on. The Oakland A's are about to lose their best players, and they aren't going to be able to afford them. They're all going to go into free agency, meaning that with the very small budget Billy Bean has, he has to build a team. And so Billy Bean, what he does is something that's very unlike the baseball world. He does something called Moneyball. And Moneyball, hence the title of the film, is basically this. And he invented this whole entire strategy. And he based it off of what Peter Brand, who is in this movie, played by Jonah Hill, teaches him. Peter Brand says, don't look at these guys based on their money. Like, don't pick the best player in the market. He said look for guys from a statistic level who can get on base. And that was basically what Moneyball was. Using their budget, or using a very small budget to get baseball players who were cheap but could get on base. That was Moneyball, basically. And so Billy Bean, he's trying to convince these scouts, we want to get, and since he's the GM, he's the boss, so he can make these decisions. He wants to get three players. Most specifically, he talks about three specific players, and basically he has to assemble his team using a very small amount of money, minuscule amount. And it actually teaches you a little bit what goes on behind the scenes. So, you know, you can forgive even your favorite baseball team if they don't make the best moves that you want to see because they have a budget. They're trying to do stuff that's really good with their budget. And so he goes for these three players for Moneyball specifically. He talks about David Justice, who is a washed-up baseball player, but he was really good in his prime. But he saw how he could get on base, so he wanted to get him for cheap. Then he talks about Jeremy Giambi, who is the brother of Jason Giambi, who was at the time, which is 2002, is in the time this movie takes place. He was he was not also kind of washed up, but he was going to too many parties, and he was partying too much. And then the third player they talk about is Scott Hatteberg, who's actually played by Chris Pratt in this movie before he ever became Star-Lord or whoever that guy was in Jurassic World, I don't know. And yeah, and basically it follows Billy Bean's quest as he tries to lead this Oakland A's team. And the one thing about this movie that does kind of detract it is it follows that same narrative of team doesn't do really well at the start, they do amazing, then there's a key moment where they could lose it or win it, but then they win. It follows that basic narrative, but it's important. That's actually what happened in the biopic, and you could easily forgive it for that because everything else that comes to it, or before it, and even during in that moment, is just so good. Everything is built so greatly. The acting is very great. The writing, who actually is written by Aaron Sorkin, who's known for very fast dialogue, very sharp dialogue, you know, crackling. It's so good. And you know, it really shows how well baseball is shown in this movie. They really show baseball in a funny and great light, and that's why it's so good. You know, it's funny too. A lot of the dialogue in this movie is well done. And it really helped. It changed my perception on baseball too. It really made me think, well, what if you were able to do this in MLB The Show, you know? It also connects to MLB The Show in that sense, where if you wanted to do franchise and have some fun with it, like going low budget, you can do that. And Moneyball really shows that amazingly, because it's actually what happened. Billy Beane, even though he wasn't exactly a great baseball player himself, he proved to be the greatest GM possibly of the 2000s. Easily. He's easily the best GM of the 2000s. As he did something no one else has seen before. He got a bunch of really cheap players who could get on base, and he made the playoffs. They couldn't win a World Series that year, sadly, as it shows in the movie. But, you know, he still did something. He did something really important. He did something that changed the baseball world forever. And you know what it also did? It also led to Red Sox winning the World Series with this same method. Because the Red Sox, after learning what Billy Beane has done, they even tried to offer Billy Beane the GM job there. After the Red Sox saw what Billy Beane did, the Red Sox decided to get some cheap players who could get on base. They basically followed the Moneyball method, and getting David Ortiz, who was really great for the Red Sox, probably a Red Sox legend, you know, it really led him to the World Series, is what I'm saying. Billy Beane's method changed baseball forever, almost. It didn't change baseball in the sense of how it's played, but it definitely changed baseball in the sense of how you should buy your players, or how you should be, or how smart you should be with it. Billy Beane took a big risk to do this too. He took a huge risk to buy these cheap players who got on base. And in the end, it worked. You know, it paid off. They went on the best winning streak in history, and David Justice apparently actually had a good year from this. And Scott Hattersburg, the thing about Hattersburg was his arm was injured, so he couldn't throw anymore. He had to play first base. And guess what? It took a bit of practicing, but he eventually got better. And that's what this movie is about. Baseball players who are cheap, but eventually panned out to be very good. It wasn't that they overperformed. They don't depict it as baseball players getting overperformed. They depict it as something much more simple. Baseball players who are cheap that can just do good, you know? Cheap players that no one expected to kill it, but they killed it. And that's what this movie is. And Billy Beane, I also have to talk a little bit more about Billy Beane. I barely mentioned him. Billy Beane has to deal with both the reactions from the manager, the scouts, you know, all the crew, basically the crew of the Oakland A's. He has to deal with sort of everyone talking to him that this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work, Billy Beane. You're going to be fired for this. That's literally what they said. And the movie depicts that brilliantly as well. And that's also what Moneyball's about. It's also about how everyone reacts to what Billy Beane does. Because it's what it shows in this movie, man. Come on. So, yeah, if you guys haven't yet in this video, whoever's watching, I really suggest you check out Moneyball. And I really wanted to share that because it's another one of my really favorite movies about baseball, and I just really wanted to talk about it, you know. I know I love liking movies, and you know I like playing baseball on this channel, MLB The Show. So I wanted to combine the two things and talk about something that, you know, everyone loves, you know, Moneyball. And I really want to express my love for it, and yeah, if you guys want to hear more of these sort of movie vlogs, please tell me. I would love to do them. I love making these videos for you guys. And tell me what you think of Moneyball. Tell me what you think of what Billy Beane did. You know, tell me what you think of just both the movie Moneyball and the strategy of Moneyball. Alright guys, so that's gonna end this video here. Appreciate the support. I'll see y'all next first stream. Hope everyone has a great day. Peace!